Are you dreaming of those sweet sun-warmed strawberries, but looking out at your sad, sleepy patch makes you a little nervous? You're not alone. That post-winter funk can be intimidating. Today, we're diving into the essential spring rituals to wake up your strawberry plants after a long winter's nap. And I'm not just talking about getting them to survive. I'm talking about setting them up for a massive, juicy harvest. Stick around because I'm sharing the 3 big secrets that most gardeners get wrong, which can make all the difference between a handful of berries and a basketful. What's the biggest challenge you face with your strawberries in the spring? Let me know down below. So why do we even need to wake up our strawberries? It's because they are perennial plants that go into a dormant state to survive the cold. All winter long, they're basically sleeping, storing up energy in their central part, called the crown. When spring arrives, they need a specific sequence of care to signal that it's time to burst back to life. Rushing this process can shock them, and ignoring it can lead to weak plants, diseases, and a very disappointing harvest. This guide is going to work for all the common types, whether you have June-bearing, ever-bearing, or day-neutral varieties. The goal is the same for all of them, to give them the perfect start for a productive season. First things first, timing is everything. If you jump the gun too early, a late frost can zap all the tender new growth. But if you wait too long, your plants might struggle to get going. The general rule is to wait until the danger of a hard frost, meaning temperatures below 28 degrees Fahrenheit, has passed. You're looking for a period where the soil is no longer frozen and can be worked. A great visual indicator is when you see the very first tiny green leaves starting to emerge from the centre of the strawberry crowns. That's nature's green light telling you it's go time. This is the moment to grab your gloves and get ready for the first step. Now we move on to the great unveiling. That thick layer of mulch you put down last fall did a fantastic job protecting your plants from the harsh winter cold. But now it can prevent the soil from warming up and can smother the new growth. You want to gently rake away the winter mulch, like straw or shredded leaves. Don't be aggressive here. Use a leaf rake or just your hands to carefully pull the mulch off the crowns and into the pathways between your rows. The idea is to expose the plants to the sunlight and air without shocking their system. A gentle touch here prevents you from accidentally ripping out any sleepy plants that haven't fully anchored themselves yet. With the crowns exposed, it's time to play plant detective and assess the situation. Get down on your hands and knees and take a close look at each plant. What you're looking for are signs of life and signs of trouble. You should see small, green nubs of new growth in the centre of a healthy crown. You'll also see a lot of old, brown and shriveled leaves from last year. Don't panic, that's completely normal. You might also spot some early weeds trying to get a head start. This initial inspection gives you a clear picture of your patch's health and tells you exactly where you need to focus your efforts for the big cleanup. Next up is the most satisfying step, the first haircut. It's time to prune away all of that old dead foliage from last season. Grab a clean, sharp pair of scissors or hand pruners. You want to snip off any leaves that are brown, spotted or completely dried up. Cut them right back to the base of the plant, being careful not to snip the healthy crown itself. This isn't just for looks. Removing this old debris is absolutely crucial for improving air circulation around the base of the plant, which is your #1 defense against fungal diseases like grey mold that thrive in damp, crowded conditions. Now let's bust a common myth right here. While pruning is important, you should not be too aggressive. Some gardeners get carried away and try to cut the plant right back to the ground, thinking it will encourage more vigorous growth. This is a huge mistake. The crown is the heart of the strawberry plant. It's where the energy is stored and where all the new leaves, flowers and runners will emerge from. Cutting into the crown can severely damage or even kill the plant. So, remember the rule. Only remove what is clearly dead or dying. Leave all the new green growth and the healthy-looking crown completely untouched. While you're down there, it's time for some weed warfare. Weeds are your strawberry's biggest competitors for water, nutrients, and sunlight. Getting them out now, while they are small, is so much easier than tackling them when they're huge. Because strawberry roots are very shallow, It's best to use a gentle approach. Hand weeding is ideal. Avoid using a large hoe or cultivator right next to your plants, as you can easily damage those delicate feeder roots. Pulling weeds by hand ensures that your strawberry plants are the only ones getting the good stuff from the soil. After a long, wet winter, the soil around your plants can become pretty compacted. This makes it difficult for water and air to reach the roots. So, it's time to loosen things up a bit. Take a small hand fork or a cultivator and very gently scratch the surface of the soil around each plant. Again, the key word here is gently. You are not digging or tilling. You are simply breaking up the top crust of the soil, about an inch deep. This simple act of aeration dramatically improves water absorption and allows the roots to breathe, setting the stage for healthy growth. All of this activity has your plants ready for their first big meal of the season. It's time for an early spring fertilizing. After a winter of dormancy, they are hungry and need a boost to kickstart their growth. For this first feeding, a balanced fertilizer is your best friend. Look for one with equal numbers, like a 10, 10-10, or a 13-13-13. This provides an even amount of nitrogen for leaf growth, phosphorus for root development, and potassium for overall plant health. Just sprinkle the granular fertilizer on the soil around the plants, following the package directions, and be careful not to get it directly on the crowns. If you're an organic gardener, or just prefer a more natural approach, now is the perfect time to use the power of compost. Instead of a chemical fertilizer, you can apply a thin top dressing of well-rotted compost around your strawberry plants. A layer about 1/2 to 1 inch thick is plenty. Compost is fantastic because it's a slow-release fertilizer that feeds not just the plant, but also the beneficial microorganisms in the soil. It also improves soil structure and water retention. Just gently spread it around the base of the plants and let nature do the rest. Whether you used granular fertilizer or compost, the next step is the same. It's time for a good drink. The first watering of the season is crucial. It does two important things. First, it helps to wash the fertilizer or compost down into the root zone where the plants can actually use it. Second, it provides much needed hydration to the waking roots and signals to the entire plant that the growing season has officially begun. You don't need to flood the area, just provide a nice, deep soaking with a gentle shower from a watering can or hose. As your plants start to grow, you're going to face a key decision: what to do with the runners. Runners are those long stems the mother plant sends out to create new baby plants. While this is great for expanding your patch, it takes a lot of energy. For the absolute best and biggest fruit harvest, especially from your June-bearing varieties, you should snip off the first few sets of runners that appear. This forces the plant to direct all of its precious energy into producing flowers and consequently big juicy berries instead of making babies. So how exactly do you remove those runners? It's incredibly simple, but it's a vital task. Once a runner has grown a few inches long, just take your clean snips or scissors and cut it off. You want to snip it as close to the mother plant as you can without damaging it. Make this a regular task you do once a week or so during the early part of the season. Staying on top of runner removal is one of those little secrets that professional growers use to maximize their fruit yield. It's a small effort that pays off in a big way at harvest time. Now that your plants are clean, fed, and watered, it's time for mulching, round 2. This isn't the heavy winter mulch, but a fresh, lighter spring addition. Once the soil has had a chance to warm up a bit, apply a 1 to 2 inch layer of clean straw, pine needles, or shredded leaves around the plants. This spring mulch is a game changer. It helps to suppress weeds, retain soil moisture so you have to water less, and it keeps the developing berries clean by preventing them from resting directly on the soil. It's the finishing touch that keeps your patch looking tidy and professional. Even though you've waited for the danger of a hard frost to pass, spring weather can be wildly unpredictable. A surprise late frost can still pop up and threaten your tender new growth, and most importantly, the delicate flower buds. You need a plan to protect your plants. Keep an eye on the forecast. If temperatures are predicted to dip near freezing, you'll need to cover your patch. An old bedsheet, a burlap sack, or a commercial frost blanket works perfectly. Just drape it over the plants in the evening and remove it in the morning once temperatures rise. As your plants wake up, so do the pests. Now is the time to start your pest patrol. The biggest culprits in early spring are usually slugs and snails, which love to chew on the tender new leaves. Go out in the evening with a flashlight to catch them in the act. You can also look for aphids on the undersides of new leaves. Dealing with them early is key. Simple organic methods like beer traps for slugs or a strong spray of water for aphids are often all you need to keep them under control before they become a major problem. Along with pests, you need to be on disease watch. The cool, damp conditions of spring are perfect for fungal diseases like powdery mildew and grey mould to take hold. Your best defence was that thorough pruning job you did earlier, which promotes good air circulation. As you inspect your plants, keep an eye out for any white, powdery coating on the leaves or fuzzy grey spots on the flowers or stems. If you spot any, remove the affected parts immediately to prevent it from spreading throughout your entire strawberry patch. As you start to see the first tiny white flower buds forming, you can give your plants another little boost. This is an optional step, but it can really help with fruit size. Consider giving them a second, much lighter feeding. This time, however, you want to use a fertilizer that is lower in nitrogen and higher in potassium. Potassium is the nutrient that plays a key role in flower and fruit development. You can use a liquid fertilizer like a tomato feed, diluted to half strength. This little nudge encourages the plant to focus its energy on producing beautiful big berries. Now let's talk about the birds and the bees, or, more specifically, just the bees and other pollinators. Each one of those beautiful white flowers needs to be pollinated in order to turn into a strawberry. You can help this process by making your garden a friendly place for pollinators. Avoid using any broad-spectrum pesticides. You can also consider planting some bee-friendly flowers like borage or lavender nearby to attract more of these essential garden helpers. A healthy, buzzing ecosystem in your yard means a much healthier and more abundant strawberry harvest. If your strawberry patch is more than a year old, it might be getting a little overcrowded. Strawberry plants send out runners and can quickly fill up a bed, leading to too much competition for resources. Spring is a great time for a little thinning. Identify the strongest, most vigorous mother plants and then carefully dig up and remove some of the smaller, weaker plants that are crowding them. This ensures that each remaining plant has enough space, sunlight, water and nutrients to reach its full potential and produce the largest berries possible. Finally, after all that hard work, the last secret is simply patience. You have done everything you can to set your strawberries up for success. Now you need to step back and let them do their thing. Continue to water them consistently, about 1 inch per week, and keep an eye out for any weeds or pests. But resist the urge to over-fertilize or overwater. Trust in the process. Your careful spring cleanup has given your plants the perfect foundation. All that's left is to watch in anticipation as those little green leaves transform into a lush patch, soon to be dotted with delicious red jewels. So there you have it, the whole process, from sleepy winter patch to a thriving bed ready to explode with fruit. The 3 big secrets really boil down to this. First, perfect timing and a gentle cleanup to avoid shocking the plants. Second, smart pruning and feeding to direct energy towards fruit, not just leaves. And third, proactive protection with spring mulch and frost covers to guard against nature's curveballs. Following these steps doesn't just wake up your plants, it supercharges them for the best harvest you've ever had. I promise you, when you're biting into that first sweet, juicy berry you grew yourself, all this spring effort will be totally worth it. If this guide was helpful, please give it a big thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss our next video on how to harvest and preserve your amazing crop. Now for the best part, what is your absolute favourite way to eat fresh strawberries? Straight from the plant in a pie with cream. Let's get a delicious discussion going in the comments.